Good morning. I'm the Reverend Rachael Hayes, minister of this congregation. Welcome to you, old friends and new, young and old, visitors, newcomers, and long-timers. You are an essential part of our celebration today. Whether today is your first or your 1000th Sunday in our midst, we are stronger because you are with us. We are one people of many beliefs, many origins, sexualities, and genders. We are all growing, all learning, all loved. Just as you are welcome here. Today, we are honoring the Indigenous peoples of this land, those who lived long ago, those living now, and those who are yet to be born. We gather together as a community of seekers to honor the interdependence of life, to respect the dignity of all, and to honor the land we walk humbly upon. We walk upon the traditional territories of the Nipmuc, Norwottuck, and Pocumtuck, the original nations of this land. In the year 1658 of the colonizers' reckoning, the British real estate speculator John Pynchon swindled the land east of the Long River, Connecticut, in the Pocumtuck place known as Norwottuck, from 3 men of Norwottuck, named Umpanchla, Quanquant, and Chickwallop. In the contract, Umpanchla, Quanquant, and Chickwallop granted Pynchon and the other colonizers leave to use the land, to hunt, fish, farm, and dwell. The contract gave no right to exclude others from the land, but the people of Norwottuck found themselves excluded from their own place. The Pocumtuck people who lived along the Long River resisted the colonizers in King Philip's War, a coordinated effort to eject the English colonists. Many died in the war, women and children as well as men. Many died of smallpox and other European diseases. Those who survived war and disease took refuge with the Abenaki people to the north. The Nipmuc people, who lived east of the Long River, resisted the colonizers in King Philip's War also. Many died. The English forced those who survived to convert to Christianity, to assimilate into English Christian lifestyles, and to remain in praying towns. Unconverted Nipmuc people outside of praying towns lived in danger of being murdered or captured and trafficked into slavery in the Caribbean. When this town was incorporated in the colonizers' understanding, the colonial governor named it after a British general who promoted the genocide of Native peoples by biological warfare with blankets contaminated with smallpox. Many Native people died. Out of respect for them, I will not say this word on this day. The town is still named for him. Many places in this continent still bear his name. Our congregation still bears his name. Our religious forebears believed in the project of manifest destiny, westward expansion, and possession of this continent in the colonial understanding. The American Unitarian Association sponsored a site of cultural genocide in Montana. Reverend Henry Bond kept Crow children at his school, coerced them away from their parents, prevented their parents from visiting them. We do not know what terrors these children experienced as Bond and his wife and the other missionaries indoctrinated them into white U.S. American culture. For all this history of genocide and terror, Native people still live and call out for the return of the land. We are called, though we have not yet answered the call, to be in relationship with our Native neighbors, to amplify their voices in society and to our governmental representatives. As we hold this history, the present day call for justice, and our responsibility to future generations, let us return to these principles. To bring justice, equity, and compassion into our daily lives. To resist all that threatens the earth and her people. And to live out our dream of a world community of peace, liberty, and justice for all. Let these thoughts carry us forth as we journey and worship together. Blessed be. I invite you to say the chalice lighting words with me. We light this flame to invite a world of peace, where we heal the wounds, where we share what we have with one another, where justice is another word for relationship, and we listen for what love has to say. I invite you to rise in body and spirit. Make sure your mask is on, and join me as we sing Winds Be Still, number 83 in your hymnal.
Winds be still, storm clouds pass and silence come. Peace grace this time with harmony. Fly, bird of hope, and shine, light of love, and in calm let us find tranquility. Bird, fly high, lift our gaze toward distant view, help us to sense life's mystery. Fly high and far and lead us each to see how we move through the winds of eternity. Light shining, illuminate our inward view. Help us to see with clarity. Shine bright and true, so we may join our songs in the sounds that become full of symphony.
150 years ago, on April 24th, 1873, Sheriff William Owen Smith planted a banyan tree in the courthouse square of Lahaina, Maui. The tree was a gift from Protestant missionaries in India, and they sent it to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the first Protestant mission to Maui. The tree was only 8 feet tall when Smith planted it, but after 150 years of growth, it measures 60 feet in height and shades an area of a full city block, about 2/3 of an acre. In addition to its original central trunk, it is supported by many additional trunks that have grown as aerial roots from its branches. It is the largest banyan tree in Hawaii. It is the largest banyan tree in all of the United States of America. During the Maui wildfires in August, the great banyan also burned, along with so much else. 80% of Lahaina burned in the fires. But the tree continued to stand as a symbol of hope for recovery. Arborists examined the tree and determined that there was still live tissue in the tree's cambium, the layer beneath the bark. They began to care intensively for the tree, to water it, to compost and aerate the soil. Their efforts are paying off. New leaves have sprouted from the tree. All is not lost. The banyan tree was sent to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Protestant missions to Maui. The Christianity that came to Hawaii in about 1820 comes from our family tree, specifically New England Congregationalism. The American Board of Commissioners for Foreign Missions, which was a bunch of Williams College grads, sent 12 companies of Christian missionaries to Hawaii between 1820 and 1848. Queen Keopuolani, the wife of the late King Kamehameha, who had unified Hawaii with the help and gunpowder of British and American traders, invited the missionaries to come to Maui in 1823. Queen Keopuolani converted and was baptized. The missionaries stressed to their converts the importance of reading the Bible. And to do so, they had it translated into Hawaiian language. The Hawaiian language had previously been unwritten. It was taught and transmitted orally. The missionaries taught the Hawaiian people their own language, transliterated in the Latin alphabet, so they could share the Bible with them. They formed schools for children, and school became compulsory, even for girls, which was something unheard of at the time in the United States. Within a generation of the missionaries' arrival, people who could not read were not allowed to get married. That's how fast that cultural shift took hold. The missionaries, whether from good intentions or not, reshaped Hawaiian culture. Hawaii went from a stop in the middle of the Pacific, from the European perspective, to a site of industrialization and globalization. Reverend Daniel Dole, son of a Congregationalist deacon and a Congregationalist minister himself, left New England in 1840 to serve as a missionary in Hawaii. His wife, Emily Hoyt Ballard, accompanied him. They founded a school for the children of the missionaries, where the instruction took place in English, not Hawaiian. Daniel Dole never learned Hawaiian in his lifetime. In 1852, the American Board of Commissioners for Foreign Missions stopped funding the Hawaiian missions, which meant the missionaries had to self-fund or leave. King Kamehameha III didn't want the missionaries to leave. They were part of this emerging new Hawaii, so he sold them land at incredibly low prices to get them to stay. Daniel Dole's son, Sanford B. Dole, was born in Oahu after a short stint at Williams College and some legal work in Boston. He returned to Hawaii. He was twice elected to the legislature of the Hawaiian Kingdom, took part in securing the 1887 Constitution that restricted voting rights to men of Hawaiian, European, or American descent, and only permitted men of wealth to vote for elections to the House of Nobles, effectively concentrating power among the wealthy merchant class. In 1889, a former Universalist minister, journalist, and politician from Maine, Reverend John L. Stevens, was appointed by the U.S. State Department to serve as minister to the Hawaiian Kingdom. Minister in the governmental sense, not the clergy sense, but he arrived shortly after the 1887 Constitution had shifted the balance of power away from Native Hawaiians to foreign businessmen. Even before he had arrived in Hawaii, he had written about the importance of the U.S. securing ties with Hawaii. And then he was the one in place to make it happen. King Kalakaua died in 1891, which was a problem for the American businessmen and their political allies. His sister and heir, Queen Liliuokalani, was less inclined to go along with the Americans. She tried to reverse the damage inflicted to her people by the 1887 Constitution, restore power to the monarchy, and restore the voting rights of Asians and lower-income Native Hawaiians. Stevens, as minister to Hawaii, could not support this and collaborated with those who overthrew Queen Liliuokalani in 1893. And it's into this Hawaii that James Dole arrives in 1899. James Dole, son of the minister of the Unitarian Church in Jamaica Plain, Boston, arrived in Hawaii with a little over $16,000, which is roughly $600,000 in today's money. To begin with, he stayed with his cousin Sanford Dole, who, after the 1887 Constitution, had served as president of Hawaii until the US annexed it and was serving in 1899 as the governor of Hawaii. James bought a 64-acre homestead in Oahu and experimented with growing a variety of crops before settling on pineapples. He is that Dole. James Dole began canning pineapples for export and grew his empire. The larger Dole Corporation now farms 109,000 acres on 5 continents. Farmers from tropical regions around the world lament the Dole Corporation's business practices, destroying ecosystems for exploitative and extractive agriculture, using dangerous pesticides, interrupting local foodways, leaving little in the way of crops for those who grew them, and maybe even supporting paramilitary forces. The Maui wildfires this year were fed by 200 years of colonialism, by the sugarcane and pineapple plantations and other non-native agriculture, the loss of the native plants, by Europeans and US Americans deciding that we know better than the people who know a place intimately, by white supremacy hiding in religion, paving the way for depriving people of their rights, by unsustainable tourism in an ecosystem on the edge, by real estate abuses. The settler colonialism that has harmed Hawaii is intimately connected, is the literal child and grandchild of the settler colonialism we still live with in Massachusetts. What will it take for us to know the land as our source instead of a resource? What will we give up? Will we trust Native Hawaiians when they ask us not to come to Hawaii as tourists? Will we begin to live from the relationships we build rather than the things and places we buy? The Great Banyan, an Indian tree that took root in Maui, sent by one group of missionaries to honor another, simultaneously a symbol of enduring colonialism and enduring hope, might point the way. You see, the arborists caring for the banyan are not only caring for the banyan. The volunteer arborists who came together as the Lahaina Treescape Restoration Project met under the banyan about a week ago to survey the new growth. They are also caring for the native ulu, kukui nut, and royal palm trees of Hawaii. Trees are essential for surviving the next fire. And we know there will be a next one, right? They hold water and moisture, and they slow the fire's spread. The arborists are planting the next generations of native trees that will thrive in Lahaina's hot sunshine, and teaching others about the importance of restoring native plants after the fire. After the fires, I will not romanticize the opportunity to plant drought-resistant native trees instead of invasive grasses. Not after 98 people have died and more are still missing. But this is one more invitation to question the colonizer thinking that lives inside all of us, to say that manifest destiny must stop, to find the connections in our history and relationships and build forward with respect. We know too well that we cannot change the past, but we need not repeat it. As you're ready, I invite you to stand or find a posture of reverence in any way that suits your body to sing verses 1 and 2 of Turn Back, which is number 120 in your hymnal.
Turn back, forswear thy foolish ways. Old now is earth, and none may count its days. Yet humankind, whose head is crowned with flame, still will not hear the inner God proclaim. Turn back, forswear thy foolish ways. Earth might be fair, its people glad and wise. Age after age, our tragic empires rise. Build while we dream, and in that dreaming weep. Would we not wake from out our haunted sleep? Earth might be fair, and people glad and wise.
I have no better prayer for you this morning than this poem by Joy Harjo. She's a member of the Muskogee Nation, and served as the U.S. Poet Laureate from 2019 to 2022. Eagle Poem. To pray, you open your whole self to sky, to earth, to sun, to moon, to one whole voice that is you. And know there is more that you can't see, can't hear, can't know except in moments steadily growing and in languages that aren't always sound, but other circles of motion. Like eagle that Sunday morning over Salt River, circled in blue sky, in wind, swept our hearts clean with sacred wings. We see you, see ourselves, and know that we must take the utmost care and kindness in all things. Breathe in, knowing we are made of all this, and breathe, knowing we are truly blessed because we were born and die soon within a true circle of motion. Like eagle rounding out the morning inside us. We pray that it will be done in beauty, in beauty. Please remain seated as we sing our meditation hymn, Spirit of Life, number 123.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings let me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
We're about to sing This Day We Come. As we get ready to sing, I offer two ways of being held in the song. The first way is to stay right where you are and just be held in the love of our congregation. And the second way is to form a circle around the outer aisle, reach out to someone near you, or place your hands over your heart as we sing our closing song.
Once
Whatever you have found here today, strength, connection, peace, maybe even a little unrest to guide you. Take it with you into the world. Let it be a spark in your week, that all may grow eventually into the beloved community. Go in peace.